I found my real soulmate. You're just a failure. This message was sent to me by my girlfriend from a nightclub. I replied, congratulations. Then I kicked her out of my house. In the afternoon, she called me crying and said something completely different. I replied, wrong number, and hung up. I'm Adrian, 29 years old, software developer at a mid-sized tech company. I've been with Lindsay for 3 years. We moved in together last October after she lost her apartment lease. That was 8 months ago, and honestly, things had been fine. Not perfect, but fine. She worked at a marketing firm downtown, had her own friends, her own life. I thought we balanced each other well. Until last Saturday night. Lindsay had mentioned going out with her coworkers on Friday. Some celebration for landing a new client. I'd been working late all week on a product launch, so I told her to have fun. I planned to stay in, order food, maybe play some games online with my brother. Normal weekend stuff. Around 11 p.m., my phone buzzed. Lindsay, I've found my real soulmate. You're just a failure. I stared at the screen for a solid 10 seconds. The message sat there, glowing in the dark room. I could hear my neighbor's TV through the wall, some action movie with explosions. My pizza was getting cold on the coffee table. I typed back, congratulations. Then I took a screenshot, set her contact to silent, and went back to my game. My hands were steady. My heartbeat was normal. I felt nothing except a strange clarity, like I'd been waiting for this moment without realizing it. 20 minutes later, my brother's voice came through my headset. Dude, you okay? You just walked into that ambush. Yeah, I'm good, I said. Just distracted. I wasn't distracted. I was planning. Lindsay kept her stuff scattered throughout my apartment. Her clothes in my closet, her toiletries in my bathroom, her shoes by the door, her laptop charger permanently plugged in next to the couch. I started making a mental inventory of everything that needed to go. At midnight, I heard her key in the lock. She stumbled in, heels in one hand, phone in the other, makeup smudged under her eyes. She looked surprised to see me awake. Hey, she said, voice thick. Didn't think you'd still be up. I wasn't expecting you back tonight, I said calmly. Thought you'd be with your soulmate. Her face went white. What? I held up my phone, showing her message. This you? She grabbed for my phone. I pulled it back. Adrian, I was drunk. That was a mistake. I was texting about someone else, something else. You misunderstood. Hard to misunderstand those words. I was talking to Becca about this guy at the club, describing him to her, and I accidentally sent it to you instead. It wasn't about us. I almost laughed. So you found your real soulmate at a club tonight, and I'm a failure, but none of that was directed at me? It wasn't meant for you. That somehow makes it worse. She started crying then, mascara running down her cheeks. Please, Adrian. I love you. I was just drunk and stupid. You know how I get. I didn't know how she got. 2 months ago, drunk Lindsay had told me I was boring. 6 months ago, drunk Lindsay had complained to her friends on speakerphone that I never wanted to do anything exciting, and I'd overheard the whole conversation from the bedroom. Each time, sober Lindsay had apologized, blamed the alcohol, promised it wouldn't happen again. Pack your things, I said. You can stay tonight because it's late, but I want you gone by tomorrow afternoon. You can't be serious. I'm completely serious. She tried to touch my arm. I stepped back. We can talk about this in the morning, she said. When we're both calm. I am calm. That's the problem. I'm very calm. I walked to the bedroom, grabbed my pillow and a blanket, and set myself up on the couch. She stood in the doorway, crying harder now, saying my name over and over. I put in my earbuds and closed my eyes. Morning came with harsh sunlight through the blinds. I heard Lindsay in the kitchen, making coffee. The smell drifted into the living room. She appeared a few minutes later, holding 2 mugs. I made your coffee the way you like it, she said softly. Thanks. I took the mug, but didn't drink it. Can we please talk? You have until 3 p.m. to get your things out. Adrian, come on. 3 years. We've been together 3 years. And you found your real soulmate last night. So congratulations. Hope it works out. Her face twisted. I told you, that wasn't about you. Then who was it about? She hesitated. This guy named Trevor. He was at the club. We were just talking. It was nothing. You called him your real soulmate. I was exaggerating. Being dramatic. You know how girls talk. No, I don't. Explain it to me. She set her coffee down too hard, liquid sloshing over the rim. Why are you being like this? Why can't you just forgive me? Because I don't want to. That stopped her. She looked at me like I'd slapped her. I've spent 3 years making excuses for you. I continued. Every time you drank too much and said something cruel, I told myself it wasn't really you. But you know what? Drunk words are sober thoughts. And your sober thought is that I'm a failure and someone else is your real soulmate. So go be with Trevor. I'm sure he's great. There is no Trevor, she screamed suddenly. I made him up. I was texting Becca, joking around, and I sent it to you by mistake. That's all. I pulled up her message again, read it slowly. I found my real soulmate. You're just a failure. That's quite a joke, Lindsay. You're twisting everything. I'm reading your words. She grabbed her purse, dug out her phone, scrolled frantically. Look, here's my conversation with Becca. See, we were talking about meeting guys at the club. It was girl talk. Stupid girl talk. I glanced at her screen. Sure enough, messages with Becca about rating guys, making fun of pickup lines, the usual club nonsense. But none of it explained her exact message to me. Still doesn't matter, I said. Even if you meant to send it to Becca, you still wrote those words about me. You still think I'm a failure. I don't think that. Then why write it? She had no answer. She just stood there, phone in hand, crying again. I spent the rest of the morning in my home office, door closed, pretending to work. I heard her moving around the apartment, opening drawers, zipping bags. My phone buzzed constantly. Her friends calling, texting, asking what was going on. I ignored them all. At 2:47 p.m., she knocked on my office door. I'm almost done, she said through the wood. Most of my stuff is packed. I'll get the rest next week if that's okay. That's fine. Where am I supposed to go? Becca's place. Your parents. Trevor's. I don't care. Silence. Then, I'm sorry, Adrian. I really am. I know. Do you think, in a few weeks, after we both cool down? No. More silence. Then footsteps, the sound of bags being dragged, the door opening and closing. The apartment suddenly felt bigger, emptier, like someone had removed furniture even though everything was still there. I sat at my desk until the sun started setting. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I answered without thinking. Hello. Sobbing. Hysterical sobbing. Adrian, please, I have nowhere to go. Becca's out of town. My parents aren't answering. I'm sitting in my car in a parking garage, and I don't know what to do. Please let me come back. Just for tonight. I promise I'll leave tomorrow. Please. Wrong number, I said, and hung up. She called back immediately. I blocked the number. Another unknown number called. I sent it to voicemail. Then another. I turned off my phone. Update 1. Sunday I spent cleaning. I found her hair ties in every room, her lotion in the bathroom cabinet, her spare tampons under the sink, her magazine subscriptions still coming to my address. I boxed everything up, taped it shut, and set it in the hallway closet. Monday morning, I went to work like normal. My coworker, Priya, asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. You look tired, she said. Didn't sleep well. Everything okay with Lindsay? We broke up. Her eyes went wide. Oh my God, Adrian. When? Saturday. This past Saturday? 2 days ago. Yeah. What happened? I shrugged. Just didn't work out. She wanted more details, but I had a meeting. I spent the morning reviewing code, fixing bugs, responding to emails. Normal work stuff. It felt good to focus on problems with clear solutions. At lunch, my phone was still off. When I turned it back on, I had 47 missed calls and 32 text messages. Most from Lindsay's number and various unknown numbers. Some from her friends. One from her mother. Lindsay's mom. Adrian, honey, Lindsay told me what happened. I think there's been a misunderstanding. Can you please call me? I deleted it. Unknown number. This is Becca. You're being incredibly childish. Lindsay made a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. You're throwing away 3 years over a drunk text message. Grow up. I blocked the number. Another unknown number. Hey man, this is Craig, Lindsay's coworker. Look, I don't know the full story, but she's really messed up right now. Sleeping in her car. Can't afford a hotel. Can you at least let her grab more of her stuff? Be the bigger person here. I blocked that number too. Lindsay, voicemail. Adrian, I know you're getting these. I know you're reading them. Please just talk to me. I'm staying at a motel off Highway 6. It's disgusting here. There's mold in the bathroom, and the people next door are screaming at each other. I can't afford this for more than a few days. I just need to come back temporarily until I figure things out. Please. I'm begging you. I saved the voicemail, not sure why. Then I blocked her number again. Tuesday my brother called. Dude, What the hell is going on? Nathan said. Lindsay's friends are blowing up my phone. They're saying you threw her out with nowhere to go. She has places to go. She just doesn't like her options. They're saying she's living in her car. She's at a motel. She left me a voicemail. Okay, but still. That's pretty harsh, man. She told me she found her real soulmate, and I'm a failure. Nathan was quiet for a moment. She said that. Word for word. Okay, yeah, that's messed up. But 3 years, Adrian. You guys have been together 3 years. Doesn't that count for something? It counted for something. Then she sent that message. Was she drunk? Does it matter? I mean, kind of. People say stupid things when they're drunk. Nathan, whose side are you on? Yours, obviously. I just think maybe you're being a little extreme. Would you want to be with someone who thinks you're a failure? He sighed. No, probably not. Then we agree. But you could at least help her find a place to stay. Help her move her stuff. Something. Why? Because you're not a cruel person. I'm not being cruel. I'm being done. Another sigh. All right. Your call. But people are going to think you're the bad guy here. Let them. We hung up. I sat at my desk, staring at my monitors, realizing Nathan was right. In everyone else's story, I was the villain. The guy who kicked his girlfriend out over a drunken text. The guy who wouldn't answer her calls. The guy who let her sleep in motels and parking garages. But they didn't know what I knew. They didn't know about the smaller comments over the years, the casual criticisms disguised as jokes, the way she'd roll her eyes when I talked about my work, the times she'd compared me to her friends' boyfriends and found me lacking. They didn't know this message was just the final, honest truth after 3 years of pretending. Wednesday, I came home to find Lindsay sitting on my doorstep. She looked terrible. Hair unwashed, eyes red and swollen, wearing the same clothes from Saturday. She stood up when she saw me. Please don't call the cops, she said immediately. I just need to talk to you. There's nothing to talk about. 5 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes. I unlocked my door, left it open, walked inside. She followed. I didn't tell her she could, but I didn't tell her she couldn't. She stood in the entryway, like she was afraid to come further in. I've been thinking a lot, she started. About what I said, about why I said it, about us. And I realize now that I've been unhappy. Not with you exactly. With myself. With my life. My job is stressful, my boss is terrible, I haven't been sleeping well. And I took it out on you. Okay. That message wasn't about you being a failure. It was about me feeling like a failure. And I projected that onto you. That's a convenient realization. Her face crumpled. I know how it sounds. But it's true. I've been in therapy. I found a therapist. Had my first session yesterday. She helped me understand my patterns. You've had one therapy session. It's a start. Good. I'm glad you're getting help. So can I come back? No. Why not? If I'm working on myself, if I'm trying to fix things. Because I don't want to fix things. She stared at me. You don't even want to try? No. That's it. Just no. That's it. She started crying again, harder this time, shoulders shaking. I don't understand you. I don't understand how you can just turn off 3 years like it meant nothing. It meant something. Past tense. I love you. You love the idea of not being alone. There's a difference. That's not true. Lindsay, you called me a failure and said someone else was your real soulmate. Even if you didn't mean it exactly how it sounded, you still thought it was an okay thing to write. Which means some part of you believes it. I don't believe it. Then why write it at all? She had no answer again. She never had an answer to that question. You should go, I said gently. This isn't healthy for either of us. Where am I supposed to go? That's not my problem anymore. How can you be so cold? I'm not cold. I'm just done. She looked at me for a long moment, mascara streaked, face blotchy. Then she turned and walked out. I closed the door behind her, locked it, and stood in my quiet apartment. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Unknown, you're going to regret this. She was the best thing that ever happened to you. I blocked the number and made dinner. Update 2. Thursday, Lindsay's mother showed up at my office. Priya called my extension. Hey, there's a woman here asking for you. Says she's your girlfriend's mom. Ex-girlfriend. Tell her I'm busy. She seems really upset. Like, crying in the lobby upset. I closed my eyes. I'll be right there. Lindsay's mom, Patricia, was sitting in the waiting area, clutching a tissue. She stood when she saw me. Adrian, thank you for seeing me. I'm working. I have 10 minutes. That's all I need. We went to a small conference room. She sat down heavily, like she'd been carrying something too long. Lindsay told me everything. Patricia said. About the message, about you kicking her out. And I understand why you're angry. I do. But she's my daughter, and she's falling apart. I'm sorry to hear that. She's made mistakes. I know that. She's always been impulsive, dramatic. She gets that from her father. But she's a good person. She loves you. And I think if you could just talk to her, really talk, you'd see that. We did talk. Multiple times. It didn't change anything. Because you've already made up your mind. Yes. Patricia's expression hardened. You know, I always thought you were different. Patient. Kind. But this is cruel, Adrian. Throwing her out with nowhere to go. Ignoring her calls. Blocking her friends. That's not the man I thought you were. With respect, Patricia, you don't know what your daughter has said to me over the past 3 years. So tell me. I shook my head. It doesn't matter. What matters is that we're not good for each other. And I'm not going to stay in a relationship where I feel like I'm constantly falling short. She doesn't think you're falling short. She called me a failure. She was drunk. So that makes it okay? Patricia was quiet. Then no, it doesn't. But people make mistakes, Adrian. If we ended every relationship over one mistake, no one would ever stay together. This wasn't one mistake. This was the mistake that made me realize I've been making excuses for years. She studied my face. You're not going to change your mind. No. She stood up, gathered her purse. I hope you find whatever you're looking for. I really do. But I think you're going to wake up one day and realize you threw away someone who truly loved you. Maybe. But I'd rather risk that than stay with someone who thinks I'm a failure. She left without another word. I went back to my desk, finished my work, drove home. My apartment was exactly how I'd left it. Clean, quiet mine. I ordered takeout, watched a movie, went to bed early. Friday afternoon, my phone rang. Lindsay's number, not blocked anymore, because she'd gotten a new number. I answered. What? I'm leaving town, she said. Her voice was different. Flat. Empty. Moving back to stay with my parents for a while. I'm getting my stuff tomorrow morning while you're at work. I still have a key. I'll leave it on the counter when I'm done. Okay. That's all you have to say? Okay. What do you want me to say? I want you to say you made a mistake. I want you to say you're sorry. I want you to fight for us. I don't want to fight for us. I want to move on. Silence. Then, quietly. I really did love you. I believe you. But love isn't enough. It should be. But it's not. She hung up. Saturday morning, I went to the gym, ran errands, grabbed lunch with Nathan. When I got home around 2 p.m., her key was on the kitchen counter. Her boxes were gone from the hallway closet. The apartment felt different, lighter, like someone had opened all the windows and let fresh air in. I picked up the key, turned it over in my hand. 3 years condensed into a small piece of metal. I threw it in the trash. My phone buzzed one last time. Lindsay, goodbye, Adrian. I hope you find someone who's good enough for you. Since I clearly wasn't. I almost replied. Almost wrote something about how this wasn't about her being good enough. About how it was about compatibility, respect, communication. Almost tried to end things on a kind note. Instead, I turned off my phone and went for a walk. The park near my apartment was busy. Families having picnics, couples holding hands, kids playing soccer. The sun was warm, the sky was clear, and I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Peace. Not happiness, not relief, not even satisfaction. Just peace. The quiet knowledge that I'd made the right choice, even if no one else understood it. Even if I was the villain in everyone else's story. I sat on a bench, watched a dad teach his kid to ride a bike, and thought about the future. About what I wanted, who I wanted to be, what I wouldn't accept anymore. About standards and boundaries and self-respect. My phone stayed off for the rest of the weekend. Monday morning, I deleted Lindsay's contact, blocked her new number, cleared out our old text history. Then I went to work, did my job, came home to my quiet apartment. People asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. They asked if I wanted to talk about it. I said no. They told me I'd find someone new. I said maybe. Eventually, they stopped asking. 2 months later, I'm still alone. Still in my apartment. Still going to work, seeing friends, living my life. And I'm fine. Actually fine, not just saying it. Because the thing no one tells you is that sometimes the hardest part isn't losing someone. It's realizing you're better off without them. That your life is quieter, calmer, more yours without their voice in your head telling you who you're supposed to be. I don't know if I'll find someone else. I don't know if I'm even looking yet. But I know I won't settle for someone who thinks I'm a failure. And that's enough for now.